Okay, let's have a look at actually measuring this. One point to note with this one is it's definitely very important that we use local paths for the data when we're running this. So I'm going to double check these workspaces should, or this workspace should use local paths, but I'm going to double check. In FME Workbench, I will open the starting workspace. So here is the workspace. Not very important what it does, to be honest. It's a version of the one we used earlier. So first steps, let's see, I'm going to turn off feature caching. So remember, you can do that with the run menu dropdown to turn off enable feature caching. I'm going to make sure my timestamp is enabled, which is under translation, log timestamp information. So it isn't enabled on these machines. So make sure you turn that on. I'm not sure if that's actually in the instructions. I should probably make sure that's added. And then I'll click OK. And then let me double check these are local paths. It looks like they are. We've got C drive there. So yeah, these are our local paths. Good. So first step is let's get the total runtime by running the entire workspace with feature caching off. Might as well turn off feature counting as well. That's what ends up showing the numbers on your connection lines, number of features. Uh-oh. Why do we have an error? That's funny. That's a new error. Okay. Where is the error happening? "2D ellipse replacer." You think so? That would be interesting. I guess maybe I never thought about that some transformers might rely on feature counts. I didn't think that was the case. I thought that was purely for display purposes, but that did work. Thank you, Rune. Okay, so that ran. Let's see, where's my total time? Duration, 8.1 seconds. So I'm going to make a note of that. So 8.1 total. So you can see kind of the problem is that's so fast in a way that it's going to be a little tricky to notice performance improvements, and the variability might be a bit higher because it's a smaller workspace, but that's okay. So we got the total time. Oh, right. The instructions actually say to do that with feature caching on as well to see the time. So I might as well do that. Let's see how much slower it is with feature caching on. Can already see it's quite a bit slower. Okay, 23 seconds. So over double the time with feature caching on. So definitely make sure that's off. So let's assess the relative performance of each section. So first thing we'll do is run just the readers and reader feature types. So let me zoom out a little bit so I can select everything here. I'll go ahead and click and drag, select everything that isn't a reader feature type, and right click and disable. And that will disable both the writers. It's telling me because I've disabled their writer feature type. So that's correct. So let's run just the readers. And we'll see how long reading takes. So that took 2.1 seconds just reading. And then we will enable just the transformers. We'll leave the writers and writer feature types there disabled. So I'll right click enable transformers and I'll run this. So this will be read plus transform time. Was 2.9 seconds. I'd also note if you're following along, you will probably have different results, and we'll see what happens if you're not following along yet, you'll notice they're probably different. So with that, we can estimate that just reading is 2.1 seconds. Just transformation is the result we just got minus our first result. So 2.9 minus 2.1, so 0.8 seconds for transform time. And then the total, 8.1 minus R plus reading plus transform time. What does that get me? That gets me 8.1 minus 2.9 gets me 5.2 for writing. So in this case, writing was quite a bit longer, reading was next, and then transform was quite small. The transformation time is quite small. Now, the tricky thing is you'll probably notice if you do this again, you might get a different result, maybe even a drastically different one. And that's just a bit of a function of whatever's going on in your machine. The fact that it's a smaller workspace will mean, I think in general, the times are a bit more variable. And any actual performance measurement you do probably would be on a bigger workspace. It might be a little more accurate, but you will probably have to run it a few times. And what I'd kind of recommend doing actually is running a few times and taking some averages. That's probably the best way you can get at an actual estimate of how long everything takes. But that's the basic gist there of how you calculate the times in this exercise. So go ahead and take about 10 minutes to work on that and then take your final break. And that will bring us to a discussion of batch processing and parallel processing, which we'll use to round out the final hour. So go ahead and work on that, and I'll see you in about 20 minutes.